Excuse me. Okay. So as you all know, everyone, that CPE 106 is the prerequisite of your CPE 198 because of the important concepts that will be discussed on this subject, no? Especially the first one. No? Anyway, sa CPE 105 ninyo, I think I do not know if the last part of your discussion for CPE 105 is was statistics or utilization of assessment data. As for me, kung sino man yung naging estudyante ko dito sa CP 105, yung assessment of utilization of assessment data was actually the last topic that we had. Although hindi ko talaga siya na-discuss, no? Kaya dito sa CP 106, kailangan talaga natin siyang makuha, and then we have to run through everything because at some point CP 106 concepts can be used in your thesis proposal. Okay, so please bear with the concept, and then please ask questions if you really don't, if you have some confusions. Is that clear, children?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, and please take note. We have our ano ba yan? Edited, no? And the edited siya, and then new form of the components of your grade, di ba, no? Yung na-post ko, that we have individual slash group output that is equivalent to 60%, and then participation that is equivalent to 10%, and then major examination that is for 30%. I hope nakita niyo yung course outline natin. Okay. So the course outline, specifically, yung first natin na nilagay doon is module 1 is the VMGO or the class orientation. So kanina, mga 12 midnight siguro yun, I did post the instruction, no, the detailed instruction for your activity for VMGO. So nakita niyo yung na-post ko sa VMGO na activity.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I hope that is clear, and that if you have some questions, please do not hesitate to ask me para successful itong activity natin. Later on, I will be posting something naman about it in connection to that, because your VMGO activity is not just actually an activity. It's a very big output, no, that is for actually for the college, no, in the name of the college yung activity ninyong children. Kaya nga meron din siyang tawag dito gantimpala or reward, no, right after you will be having your output, and I will be posting it, and then because I will still decide kung ano talaga yung gantimpala yung ibibigay ko. Of course, the reward here will of course mabigat din. Magiging masaya ang yung reward na ibibigay ko sa inyo. Okay? So let's start the discussion. I hope that you have your own copy of your handout, I believe, kung hindi man. Or kung mayroon kayong nakita, nabasa nyo. No? And then, I did post also the, what you call this, the problem sets. No? I have posted 2 sets of problem sets for, I think that nagsugod na siya og mean, if I'm not mistaken, mean up to quartiles. No, para. So, meron tayong problem sets doon. Naka-handwritten lang yun. I hope that is clear. So, you have to follow through that one by the time we will be discussing those concepts now for solving. Okay? Sige. Right after our discussion, if you have questions, by the way, please take note of your questions. You may type it in sa chat box natin, or you may take it note, and then I will be asking your questions later after the discussion. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
sige.
sir.
So let's start. I will now be sharing my screen. Please, if ever man there will be technical glitches, if ever mawawala yung boses ko at the same time yung screen, please message me sa messenger, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let's start. Okay, we will be run through lecture 1, utilization of assessment data. Please take note, I did mention that CPE 106 is the prerequisite of your CPE 198, because mainly the concept on CP 106, specifically this one, the first one, utilization of assessment data, we will be talking here statistics. And statistics at some point is considered to be the backbone of your research. That is why you really have to familiarize this one. Not really good kaayo nga kana jud i-memorize bitaw good kaayo nato, but then again i-familiarize. Para naman by the time you will be having your thesis proposal, hindi parang alienated, no? You will not be culture shock with the term na gagamitin na yung advisor at the same time your panelists. Okay. The learning outcomes for this discussion, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to apply statistics and research at any systematic investigation. Although, number one, we will not be doing this one. The application of CPE 106 probably will be your CPE 190. Number two, construct frequency distribution for a given set of scores. Graph the scores using histogram and frequency distribution. I think the concept on frequency distribution and our discussion here is not unfamiliar to you, not unusual because I think meron kayong statistics or elementary statistics na subject sa senior high, tama ba?
Yes, sir.
Mm. I'm sure nag-senior high man tatanan diri. So, at some point, kahit hindi masyadong naintindihan yung discussion during senior high, at least hindi siya alien para sa inyo. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Wala, nagdulay na ginis di makuta na gid. Yes, sir. No? So, wala energy. Sige. Number four, calculate the mean, median, and mode, decile, quartile, and percentile of the student scores. Identify the different properties of the measure of central tendency. The measure of central tendency here is actually referring to your mean, median, mode, and the like. Identify the uses of the different measures of variability. Calculate the value and make an analysis of range, mean deviation, quartile deviation, variance, and standard deviation of given scores. Differentiate standard deviation from coefficient of variation. Identify the properties of the different measures of variability. Apply the concept of skewness in identifying the performance of the students. The concept of skewness, by the way, children, is very common by the time you will be taking your board exam. Kasi at some point, murag siya ang common kaayong mugawa sa board exam, ang skewness. No? And then, you cannot understand skewness if you cannot understand the prior concepts no sa skewness. Okay. Determine the spread of scores using the measures of variation. Compare the performance of the students using measures of central tendency and measures of variability. Convert raw scores to standard scores. Determine the relationship of two groups of scores, and compute R and P value of scores and make an analysis. No? Our learning outcomes are quite long and then are very quite technical. But then again, these are just fundamental or basic for statistics. Now, why do we have again to know these concepts? Because this perhaps are requirement for your CP 198. Now, you have to understand the basic concepts of these things for you to understand your thesis in the future. Probably you'll be enrolling CP 198 next semester. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Hoy! Oh, sige. Oh, di ba yung iba tulog? Okay. Next. And of course, since we will be dealing with statistics, we have to know the background of statistics. And according to here, statistics is a very important tool in the utilization of the assessment data, most especially in describing, analyzing, and interpreting the performance of the students in the assessment procedures. By the way, our concept on statistics here is not actually ibigyan natin siya or ilagay natin siya sa konteksto ng edukasyon, no? The main purpose why we are dealing with statistics is not to become a statistician. No? The reason why we are dealing with statistics because we want to be informed and we want to know what is the reason of the score of that particular student who got 10 over 15. No? Kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng score na 1 over 10. No? Ano yung ibig sabihin na most of the students for that section ay nakakuha ng 15 over 20? Okay, so that's the reason why we really have to inform ourselves about statistics. And beyond that, of course, for research. The teachers should have the necessary background in the statistical procedures used in assessment of student learning. That is very basic for teachers because, again, teachers, if the teachers don't have any knowledge about statistics, they cannot understand the performance of the students. Or bakit po hindi nila maintindihan? It is because ang makukuha mong data coming from your students are scores, correct? Tama ba? Scores ang makukuha mong data sa estudyante, tama?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So, kahit anong scores pa yan, quiz ba yan, score coming from a rubric, coming from a checklist, siguro nagpasayaw ka diha na score, okay? You cannot understand what is the meaning of that score unless you don't know what is the concept of statistics, okay? So the teacher should have the necessary background in the statistical procedures used in assessment of student learning in order to give a correct description and interpretation. That is the main purpose why teachers should have knowledge or necessary background or foundational background on statistics because we wanted to have correct description and interpretation sa score sa mga estudyante. No, baka kasi pag yung estudyante mo makakuha siya og 0/10, mayon ka buguan yung bata, oy kinakakuha man siya og 0/10. No? Na may ka dahil nakakuha og estudyante nga 10/10, ay grabe ka brighting bata kay perfect ang iyang score. No? We don't want to do that. That is why we really have to understand the basic concepts on statistics. No? Because 0/10 doesn't mean that the student is a slow learner or we call it bugo. No? Because technically children, we don't have to use the term bugo because technically because of the concept of uh, multiple intelligences, we do have our specific intelligences, okay? And then, of course, interpretation about the achievement of the students in a certain test, whether the test was given by your teacher or the test was given by the Department of Education, national or international. Okay? All of those things sa ato ang mga tests, ang ibibigay sa atin ay numbers or scores. No? So it is now up to us how to interpret it by, of course, dealing with the term statistics. So that's the essentiality of statistics to teachers. I hope you get it. Okay. Of course, we have here the taxonomy of statistics, everyone. We do have two methods. We have descriptive methods and inferential methods. Let's just run through everything because we will be encountering terms like this later part of the show. Descriptive methods, we have the term univariate, so it means univariate single. Okay, so it may be shape, center, spread, and relative position. We also have here bivariate, meaning to say two. So that's why we have the term correlation or regression. Okay, and then we also have here multivariate. That is the time that we have to use the term multiple regression analysis. And this term, you will be encountering this one by the time you will be doing your research. And then for the inferential methods, also we have um, two groups. You will be encountering the term t-test and deep groups t-test. We also have their ANOVA. No? We have ANOVA, we have ANCOVA, we have two-way analysis, somewhat like that. Okay, and other statistics. If you are going to research different methods on differential statistics, you could actually encounter a lot of terms. Now we have Mann-Whitney, somewhat like that, and those are technicals. And don't worry, we will not be going there, no. So dito lang tayo sa basic concepts, but then again, very technical still. Okay, okay, let's run through terms, everyone. When we say data, by the way, data, sir, so on gani pag-pronounce na, is it data or data? Okay. Of course, the pronunciation is based in geographic, so nakadepende yan. So you can pronounce it as data or data. Okay. So data, by the way, is plural of datum. Para lang klaro, no? So isusulat ko siya sa chat box, children. Data is plural, and then datum is singular. Kuha.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. So again, when we say data children, it consists of information coming from observations, counts, measurements, or responses. So when we say data, lahat na makukuha natin informasyon sa kahit saan. Like for example, observation. So ito ma-observe. Um, ang sky kay nag-dark siya. So that is an observation, that is a data, no? And then when we say counts, no, yun ka nga, okay, ilan kaya yung estudyante ko ngayong semester? Okay, tinignan ko sa class list, nag-ihap ko, I am counting, and then yung count na yun is considered to be data. And then in measurement, like for example, gusto ko i-measure yung distance between my boarding house to the College of Education. So for example, that is 100 kilometers, no? Ang haba, no? 100 kilometers, and that is measurement, and that is considered to be data. And then of course, responses, like for example, nagpa-survey ka kung sino yung pinakamaganda sa College of Education at yung sagot ay si Sir Fern, okay, that is considered to be responses, no? Sino yung pinakamaganda sa College of Education? Sir Fern, according sa survey. Diba, bongga?
Muangal
Okay na
din po
ba?
ay.
Okay na ba, Elmer? No? Perfect na kay Elmer.
Muangal ko, sir.
Na, di ba, no? Mapili gid ang Tagalaing College, kinagid ang pinakagwapa diri sa College of Education, si Sir Fern. Okay. Anyway, next, of course, let's go back to the term statistics. Statistics is considered science, everyone. The science of collecting, organizing, analyzing, and interpreting data in order to make decisions. So this is very, very big responsibility of statistics, no? Because yung pag-collect pa lang ng data, that is part of statistics, how to collect data. That is why really, during your, when you will be enrolling CPE 1 and 8 next semester, you will be encountering how to collect sample, how to collect data. Dili ra gina siya mingon na, gusto kong i-collect yung dito. Gusto kong piliin dito kasi mas bet ko dito. Gusto kong mag-collect ng data sa mga friends ko lang kasi mas madali ko silang mahanap. Okay? So meron tayong strategies of doing the collection of data. And then, of course, organizing the data. We have to analyze it. That is still part of statistics. And we have, of course, to interpret the data. Excuse me. Okay. Again, of course, the end point of statistics is to interpret data. Okay. Why do we have to interpret data, children? Why do we have to do the proper collection, the proper organization, the proper analyzation, the proper analysis of data, and then the proper interpretation of data because we wanted to make decision. Okay? So ano po yung ibig sabihin ng decision? We will know later kung ano yung tinatawag nating decision later, no? Kung iba't iba kasi yan, no? Kung meron ba tayong i-accept or reject, somewhat like that. So we will know later kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng decision. Again, your statistics here, by the way, wala tayong statistic na term ha. It's always, meron talaga siyang S. Sir, ano ba yan? Plural singular? Wala. No? Because that is a proper noun. So that is statistics. Okay. Uh, Again, our statistics here has a big role when it comes to dealing with data because our endpoint here of why do we have to do statistics because we have to make decisions at the end of the day. Okay. Next, the term population, no? Because I really wanted it to share to you children because later part of the show you will be encountering these terms. No? So when we say population, this is the collection of all outcomes. Please take note of the term all children. Of all outcomes ti siya, responses, measurement, or counts that are of interest. Like for example, yung interest ko ay gusto kong malaman kung nag-Netflix ba lahat ng estudyante ng College of Education. Okay? So, yung estudyante ng College of Education, that is what we call the population. Nakuha?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Very good. No? On the
Tama.
other hand, when we say sample, on the other hand, when we say sample, that is a subset of a population. No? Subset of population means to say, coming from the people inside the College of Education, you get a particular group, and that is what we call sample. Okay. In a way, I will be giving you example later. Let's have this example. Meron tayong example. In a recent survey, 250 college students at Union College were asked if they smoked cigarettes regularly. Okay? So meaning to say again, nag-survey ka, no? Ilan yung na-survey mo? 250 na mga estudyante saan? Sa Union College. At gusto mong malaman kung regular ba sila nagsisigarilyo. Okay. 35 of the students said yes, meaning to say 35 out of 250 said yes that they smoke regularly. Excuse me. Okay, so again, 35 of 250 students said yes, they smoked regularly. Now, let's try to identify kung saan doon ang population and sample. As you can see sa presentation natin, children, the inside of the red box there. Okay, kita naman no sa presentation, klaro ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. No, as you can see here, the entity inside the red box, those are the responses of all students at Union College, and that is what we call population. And then the one who said 35, katong nag-yes, those are the responses of students in survey, and that is what we call sample. Sir, saan po doon yung sample, sir? Ang sample doon ay pwedeng maging 35 of the students. That is the sample. Sir, bakit po, sir? Because yung 35 students ay nanggaling siya sa population na 250 college students of Union College. Nakuha?
Yes
Yes,
po. Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay. Siguro meron tayong another example. Another example siguro natin, yon. Pagpatuloy natin yung example natin kung nag-Netflix ba yung mga estudyante ng College of Education. So lahat ng enrolled sa College of Education this semester, gusto natin malaman kung nag-Netflix ba sila. Okay? So the population now, no? Ang population doon sa ating example children ay lahat ng estudyante na enrolled sa College of Education. That is our population. Now, sir, saan po doon ang tinatawag nating sample? Right after nagpa-survey ka, nalaman mo na 25 lang pala out of lahat ng mga estudyante enrolled sa College of Education, 25 lang pala doon ang nag-Netflix. Okay? Meaning to say, the 25 students out of the enrolled students, that is an example of sample. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Very good. Next. Another definition of statistics. Statistics, again, is a branch of science which deals with the collection, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of quantitative data. You will know more about quantitative data later on. So we have here two branches of statistics, children. We have descriptive and then inferential statistics. When we say descriptive statistics, it is a method concerned with collecting, describing, and analyzing a set of data without drawing conclusions. So ano po ibig sabihin? Ibig sabihin, children, meron kang set of data but you are not judging it based on the data. Sir, can you give a definite example? Yes. The definite example is this. Excuse me. Meron akong isang section, nagtuturo ako sa DepEd, no, for example. I have section, nagtuturo ako sa grade 9, for example. And then yung grade 9 natin, meron 5 sections ng grade 9. Hindi natin alam, no? We will not identify kung sino yung first section kasi ito na yung concept kasi ng DepEd ngayon, no? Wala ng first section, wala ng second, and so on. So, merong 5 section sa grade 9 children. So, ang nangyari, nagpa-quiz ako, children, no? So, of course, ako yung teachers ng chemistry, for example, na subject sa kanila. Okay, I did give a quiz, mga 15 items na quiz, children. Okay. Pagkatapos kong tiningnan yung scores nila, nakita ko ang isang section. Ang isang section doon ay si Antoine Lavoisier. Okay. So meron tayong section Lavoisier. Okay. Yung section Lavoisier children, they got most of them, no, most of them, mga 99% sa kanila, nakakuha ng scores 15 above. Ay, sorry, 15 items naman, no? 10 to 15 na scores. Okay? So, merong naka-perfect. Meaning to say, sa section Lavoisier, ang pinakamaliit na score ay 10. Okay? So, based on that judgment, no? Based on that score, sabihin mo, okay, you have to inform yourself, okay, the scores of Lavoisier, yung pinakamaliit lang is 10, and then the highest score is perfect. That's it. That is for descriptive statistics. Sir, ibig bang sabihin, sir, yung sa descriptive statistics, yung nakuha mo lang is number. Yes, yun lang, number. Yung na-inform ka lang that the highest score is the perfect score, and then the lowest score for section Lavoisier is 10. That's it. But when we say inferential statistic, because yung descriptive statistics kasi children, we will not draw conclusion. Or kung bibigyan natin yan ng layman's term, no, sa tuang nga term, dili ni mo siya i-judge, no? You will not judge based on the scores given. Okay? But in the inferential statistics children, no, because the term inference here is also known as conclusion, that is actually synonymous, no? Synonymous ng conclusion of inference. Inferential statistics on the other hand is a branch of statistics concerned with the analysis of a subset of data leading to predictions or inferences. Meaning to say, children, coming from that particular data given, kung sa descriptive statistics, hindi mo siya gi-judge. But then again, pag tinatawag natin inferential statistics, that that's the time that you will judge that particular set of data. Okay, let's go back to the example. Yung example kasi kanina natin, yung section Lavoisier got 10 to 15 na scores, no? 10 as the lowest score and then 15 as the highest score. Now, if we are to convert it, hindi naman talaga convert. If we are to use the concept of inferential statistics, you will now judge that score. So ano bang judgment natin, children? Okay. Ang section Lavoisier, kay murag sila ang section 1. Parang sila yung section 1 kasi ang taas ng scores nila, no? Sa ibang sections ang baba, may zero pa, no? Sa section Lavoisier siguro napaka-intelligent ng mga estudyante diyan. Siguro yung mga estudyanteng nandyan, mga mayaman yan. Kasi nakapag-research talaga sila. Siguro yung mga estudyante dyan, ano talaga, very diligent. Okay? Di ba, you are judging the section, the people inside section Lavoisier, it is because of their scores. That is inferential statistics. Nakuha, children, nakuha
Yes,
yung
Yes,
difference
sir.
sir.
between descriptive statistics, no?
Yes, sir.
In layman's term, descriptive statistics don't have any generalization. Ano what I mean? Don't have any conclusion. Dili siya mag-conclude nga, okay, 10 to 15 man iyang score, so bright siya. Walang ganyan. But in inferential statistics, merong judgment. Wala, as in 15 imong score, wala bright kay ka. Okay, diba? That's inference. No, you are giving conclusion based on the data. I hope that is clear. Anyway, we will be having our example later. So the study of statistics has two major branches. No, we have again descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Your descriptive statistics involves the organization, summarization, and display of data. Okay, that's it. No, display of data lang. That is what we call descriptive. Like for example, population. Sa Pilipinas, mo ni ang population. No? 1 billion blah blah blah. That is descriptive statistics. But when we say because of the increasing population in the Philippines, the resources are now depleting. That is inferential statistics. No? You are now correlating at some point the population to the resources inside the country. Okay, so it involves using a sample to draw conclusions about a population. So, ang imong inferential, okay, grabe mag-judge, no? Naagi siya conclusion. But in descriptive, as in literal description, no? Kung gitawag sa descriptive, ang isa gitawag sa inferential. Let's have this example. In a recent study, volunteers who had less than 6 hours of sleep were 4 times more likely to answer incorrectly on a science test than were participants who had at least 8 hours of sleep. Decide which part is the descriptive statistic and what conclusion might be drawn using inferential statistics. Alam ko, nakikita nyo yan sa inyong handouts yung sagot, but gusto ko na can somebody tell me kung ano yung research about? Because this is actually a research, no? So ano ba yung nasa research? Gusto kong malaman. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng research? Ano yung nasa research again? Anybody? Can we have Madiha? By the way, your participations will be recorded.
Excuse me, sir.
Ano yung nasa research natin? Yung sa example, anong ibig sabihin nun? I am not yet questioning kung saan doon ang descriptive at saka inferential. Ang ibig kong ang tanong ko, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng research? Ano yung nasa research na yan? Tell me about it.
The performance of the students, sir, in answering the science test.
Hmm. So it's all about,
Sir?
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 It's all about,
The study
the
is all
research is all
about
about, yes, yes.
the study is all about the performance of the student in answering the science test.
No, probably this is a research about identifying the performance of the students in answering the science test. That is true. Another,
About sir, about the number hours of sleep of the participants.
yes, probably that is still correct. Di makuta, no? Another,
Yes, sir.
just tell me, hindi kailangan ng grabing analysis, no? Ang ibig ko lang sabihin, ano yung na-understand niyo sa research, no? Sa study na yun? Another, you just have to raise your hand. By the way, meron tayong raise hand button, ha? Okay, sumagot na si Barido kanina. So let's have another one. Uy, nasaan ang mga balbal dire? Wala na natulog na nagtulo ng laway ani. Oh. Can we
Sir,
have
the effect
yes,
of enough.
yes, Jan.
Sir,
Hmm.
the effect of enough not enough sleep on student performance.
Yes, no? But yeah, at some point, tama, no? Actually, yung tatlong sumagot, no? Baredo, Dimakot, and of course, Jaihan, that is true that actually the research is all about the parang number of sleep and then yung performance estudyante, no? Kung meron ba silang, ano ba yan? Meron ba silang relationship at some point? Now, let's go back to the problem. So in a recent study, very good children, thank you so much again, Barido, Dimakot, and Jehan. So in the recent study, volunteers who had less than 6 hours. The term volunteers there, we will change it sa konteksto natin. So instead of using the term volunteers, siguro gagawin natin students na lang. Okay? So in a recent study, students daw who had less than 6 hours of sleep were 4 times more likely to answer incorrectly on a science test than were participants or than were students who had at least 8 hours of sleep. Now, based on the answer no, sa ating next present part of presentation, ang sabi daw dito, ang this is descriptive statistics, children, ha? Nakulangan ng S. The statement 4 times more likely to answer incorrectly is what we call the descriptive statistics. Okay? Sir, bakit naging descriptive statistics? Wala lang. Sabi lang niya na yung mga estudyante daw na kulang yung tulog, less than 6 hours, they will get to have 4 times more likely to answer incorrectly. That's it. Okay? Walang judgment, no? Sir, saan ang galing yung 4 times more likely to answer incorrectly? Based on the data. Nakita kasi sa data na 4 times more likely to answer incorrectly. Sa mga taong natutulog na less than 6 hours. Descriptive. Walang judgment. But if we are going to have an interpretation based on inferential statistics, ang second sentence ang mo answer anak. So an inference drawn from the sample is that all individuals daw na sleeping less than 6 hours are more likely to answer science question incorrectly than individuals who sleep at least 8 hours. So merong judgment, no? Merong judgment daw na ang sabi, ah, base sa research na yon, no, base sa research na yon, yung mga tao pala na yung tulog ay less than 6 hours, uh, sigurado yan na they will commit mistakes in answering science test compared sa mga tao na yung natutulog na at least 8 hours or more than 8 hours. Okay? Di ba meron siyang conclusion? Di ba, parang meron siyang judgment at the end of the data. Nakuha?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay,
Yes,
let's
sir.
have another example. Okay, thank you. Let's have another example. Ano ba? Okay, we had an example na pala kanina, no? So, yung scores ng mga estudyante. Siguro let's have another example. Siguro, ano ba? Hmm, yeah, board exam siguro, no? So ang board exam, 'di ba, ang sabi natin pag nakikita tayo ng hala ang daming nag-top sa ganitong university, no? So kung titingnan natin children, merong dalawang university, University A at saka University B. And then based sa resulta, ang daming nag-top sa sa University A. No, ang daming nag-top siguro most of them nasa top 10, no? Ang top 1 nasa University A. Yung top 2 nasa University B. Top 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, nanggaling sa University A. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Based on descriptive statistics, mas marami ang nag-top sa University A compared sa University B. That is descriptive statistics. Why, sir? It is because, ano lang, kung ano lang yung nasa data, yun lang yung binigay. Pero when you go to inferential statistics, the interpretation now is different. Interpretation would be, um, siguro University A, mas marami yung mas dagay bright sa University A. Okay. Siguro yung sa University A, siguro lahat sila nag-review, no, sa board exam. Kaya lahat sila or most of them nag-top sa board exam. Okay? So merong conclusion at the end of the data. So that is the main difference or the differences between the concept of descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. I hope you get it. Okay? If you have questions, please raise it later during our question and answer portion. Let's proceed. Klaro yung boses ko, children.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Loud and
Yes,
clear.
sir.
Yes,
Very good.
sir.
Very good. Okay. Let's have here our data classification. Sa data classification natin, children, you will still encountering terms that are very essential for us to understand really the concept of statistics, no backbone. Okay. Now, data sets, sorry, data sets can consist of two types of data. The first one is qualitative data, and the second one is quantitative data. Technically, sa statistics, differentiate gid kaayo sa children that qualitative data are non-numerical entities. So perhaps this may consist of attributes. Ano ba ibig sabihin attributes? Features, no? Unsay color niya, unsay shape niya, those are qualitative data. Labels, for example. Labels, pwede uyab mo or dili. Nakadepende mo sila siya nga label. Or non-numerical entities. On the other hand, for quantitative data, it consists of numerical measurements or counts. Again, consists of numerical based on measuring and counting. Please take note of that. Next. This one is a very good example to a very good representation on qualitative and quantitative data. So the grade point averages of 5 students are listed in the table, which data are qualitative data and which are quantitative data. So of course, sa first column natin, meron tayong listahan ng mga pangalan ng mga estudyante. We have Sally, Bob, Cindy, Mark, and Kathy. And then on the other side of the column, we have GPA. We have Sally got 3.22, Bob got 3.98, Cindy got 2.75, Mark got 2.24, Kathy got 3.84. Sir, bakit ganyan po yung GPA nila? Merong mga university na yung pinakamalaking grado nila is 4. Okay? Sa atin, flat 1. Yung may ibang university that ang pinakamalaking grado is flat 4. Ang pinakamaliit na grado is flat 1. Okay? Equivalent to 5 siguro yan or 3. Okay? So, based on this GPA, ang malaking GPA dito is Bob, no? 3.98. So, the first column is your qualitative data, the name of the students. And then on the other side of the column is your quantitative data that involves number, which would be the GPA of the students. Claro?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Sige. Let's proceed. For qualitative data, qualitative data can be separated to into two subgroups, children. We have the term dichotomic and then we have the term polynomic. No, these are very important, children. That is why include ginako ni sila nga mga terms because you will be encountering this one sa inyong thesis proposal. Okay? Of course, alam ko na siguro nakapagsagot na kayo ng form, no? Kanang mga naka-fill out na mong form or naka-fill out na mo og survey form, no? So, when it comes to qualitative data, children, we have here two subgroups. We have dichotomic and polynomic. When we say dichotomic, if it takes the form of a word with two options, kung dalawa lang yung options, children, we call it dichotomic. That is why we have di. I mean to say two. So for example, very good example is your sex, no? Male or female. The term sex here is not referring to anybody, to anything, but sex here is referring to the biological entity or this is actually based on the sexual organ of the organism. So that is between male or female. Now, in here, sa MSU main, actually I encountered because by the time I got to panel uh, thesis, no? Di ari, pag naay mag-profile, kasi member dili ko IRC. May member dili ko IRCB. I was. No, walang from IRC dito, no? Okay. Anyway, um, during my Okay, during my paneling, no, or my thesis critiquing, I actually observe during sa kanilang mga profiling that they actually instead of using the term sex, they're using the term gender, no? Uh, gusto ko lang gusto ko lang malaman ninyo that gender is very technical because gender may pertain to may not pertain to male or female. Gender may refer to lesbian, gay, transgender man, transgender woman, what else? A queer, gay, somewhat like lesbian, somewhat like that. Okay, that is on the concept of gender, children. But when we say sex, that is actually referring to the the basis now of your sex is so siya, the sexual entity of the organism. So if you have this organ, you can be termed as male, and if you have this particular organ, you have to be termed as female, no? Because gender is a social construct. Ibig sabihin, ang society ang nagbibigay ng qualifications at some point. No? Like for example, um, if a male is not actually doing things like a male, at some point he will be categorized as gay kung inanayin pag-declare siya himself. Okay? So that's on the concept of gender. But then again, I did understand no during sa akong pagpanel diri no sa College of Education sa thesis, I did understand that really because this is an Islamic city, no, and then we don't want kasi no, I think you don't want to have a different connotation of the term sex. That is why instead of using the term sex, you are using the term gender. No? Kasi nga magpapa-survey tayo, no? Mga-survey tayo, baka iba yung ma-interpret nila sa term na sex. So that is why I understand that instead of using the term sex sa mga forms natin, ang ginagamit na yun is gender. But gusto ko lang malaman sa inyo na yung sex at saka gender, iba't ibang konsepto po yan. And then we really have to know kung ano talaga yung concept ng sex and gender. Okay? Gusto ko lang malaman nyo yan, yung difference ng dalawa. Klaro? Klaro
Yes,
ba?
sir.
Okay, kasi
Yes,
baka,
sir.
yeah, okay, very good. Baka kasi by the time you will be graduating here in MSU, and then you will be filling out form, and then ang ilalagay doon sex, ilalagay doon is gender. Sabi ni sir, yung gender na dichotomic lang, kasi dalawa lang yung pagpipilian, male at saka female. Bakit dito yung gender, nakita ko na meron pang lesbian, gay, transgender, queer, blah, blah, blah. So mali yung tinuro ni sir. Somewhat like that, no? So gusto kong malaman ninyo na yung gender na ginagamit natin dito, specifically in your culture, is actually referring also to male and female. No? Para lang maiba yung concept. But then again, if we're going to talk about technicalities, magkaiba ang sex at saka gender. Klaro?
Yes,
Klaro?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, very good, very good, very good. Yes. Next, the term polynomic. Again, we still here sa qualitative data natin. When we say poly, mean to say ang dami, no? Marami, more than two. So if it takes the form of a word with more than two options, no? Kung yung options natin are more than two, means say we call it polynomic, no? For example, ang binigay na example dito ay education. Meron tayong primary school, may secondary school, and university. No? Ano pa ba yung sa form natin? Ano pa ba yung sa form? Okay, marital status. No? Alam niyo yung marital status? Are you familiar with the term marital status, children?
Yan ba, sir, yung poster?
Ah?
Mga med.
Oh, yes. Very good, Norhana. No? Yung married, single, somewhat like that. But yes,
Widow.
but very good. But here in the Philippines, I do not know really know, but then again, way back nung kabataan ko pa, medyo matanda na kasi ako, no? During my high school years siguro, and even elementary years, I saw forms, yung mga forms na sa marital status, ang binibigay lang na option ay dalawa lang, single at saka married. No? Kasi talaga sa Pilipinas, hindi kasi pa in-acknowledge yung tinatawag na diborsyo, tama? Wala pa talagang divorce sa Philippines, no? In terms of our law, legally speaking also, I do not know, we still don't have any provisions, law about divorce, no, at some point. And then, so that is why, yung nakikita lang natin before sa mga old forms natin, ang nakikita lang natin ay dalawa sa marital status, single at saka married. That is why children, marital status at some point can be termed or can be categorized as dichotomic, no? Sa marital status. Sir, bakit po meron ako nakikitang marital status na merong single, married, widow, widower, um, divorced, somewhat like that. More than two po yan, sir. No, more than two po yan, sir. Bakit po yung sabi mo, sir, na marital status dichotomic? Because in our case kasi, parang nag-evolve yung marital status, parang di-acknowledge na natin. No? That our marital status, we do have a lot of our marital status is actually extended siya sa ato ang single and married. So that is why children, in our understanding sa klaseng ito, gusto kong malaman ninyo that the marital status can uh, can can be no can be categorized as dichotomic, and it can also be categorized as polynomic. Sir, kailan siya maging dichotomic? Pag yung options ng marital status ay single at saka married lang. Kailan siya magiging polynomic? Sir, pag ano yan, yung marital status natin, yung options ay more than two na. Because actually nag-exist yun siya. No? Na-adjay form nga duha ra gyud, no? Dalawa lang talaga yung options. Meron ding mga forms children na more than two yung options for marital status. Klaro?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Nagkaintindihan ba tayo? Nagkakaintindihan tayo?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
No,
sir.
kasi
Sir
no,
po.
yes, no. Baka kasi makita kayo ng form ba na, ano ba yun si sir? Pataka, mag-sir si sir, oy, naman lagi marital status na more than two ang options niyo. Bakit ang sabi niya na marital status na dichotomous lang? Okay? So again, marital status can be categorized as dichotomic or polynomic. Okay. Next would be
Yes, sir.
your Very good. Yes. So
Yes
let's
po.
try to look at a data sample of your qualitative data. Okay, the data are the colors of backpacks. Okay, qualitative, no, we're pertaining to attributes, no, kung characteristics. So our data here would be the colors of backpacks. You sample 5 students. One student has a red backpack, 2 students have black backpacks, one student has a green backpack, and one student has a gray backpack. Okay, the colors red, black, green, and gray, those are your qualitative data. Why? Because color is an attribute, and attribute is part of the qualitative data. Claro?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
No? Pwede. Sir, how about ano sir? How about yung shape ng bag sir, ng backpack? Okay, you can have that, no? Because shape is also part of attributes, no? Therefore, shapes are part of qualitative data. Okay. Next is on quantitative data. Quantitative data are always numbers. Please take note. Quantitative data are always numbers, and these numbers are the result of counting or measuring. Again, the numbers in the quantitative data are the result of counting or measuring attributes of a population. Quantitative data can be separated into 2 subgroups. The first one is what we call discrete, and the second one is what we call continuous. Okay. Ang ibig sabihin ng discrete children, counting. No? Kung ang imuha karong number, no, if the number is the result of counting, we call it as a discrete data. No? For example, the number of students of a given ethnic group in a class. So, kung nag-face-to-face ta karon, and gusto kong malaman kung ilan yung Ranao, gusto kong malaman kung ilan yung Iranon, Tausug, Maguindanao, and the like, mag-count ko. No? So, may ko, okay, taas yung kamay yung mga Maranao dito. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How about Tausug? 1, 2, 3. Okay? The 7 Maranao and then the 3 Tausug there, those are the result of my counting. Therefore, that is an example of discrete. Another, the number of books on a shelf. So maingon ko nga, okay, please, Saliha, kindly count the books in the first shelf doon sa main library. Okay, mag-count si Saliha, and then the count there or the number that she will be given, that she will give me, is actually an example of discrete data. Claro, ang discrete.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next will be continuous. Continuous naman is if the number is the result of measuring, we call it continuous. Again, measuring. Kung gi-measure nato siya kahit anong pang ways of measuring, we call it continuous. Okay. For example, distance travel. Okay, gusto niyo malaman kung ilan yung distansya from Iligan City to Marawi City. The distance between Marawi City and Iligan City, that is an example of continuous data. And then weight of luggage, of course, how can we identify the weight of the luggage? We have to measure it by using a timbangan. Okay? So weight of luggage is an example of continuous. Claro, ang dalawa, discrete and continuous.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Okay,
sir.
good. Let's have a sample data here for discrete data. The data are the number of books students carry in their backpacks. So, ang data na gagamitin natin kung ilan yung libro na dala-dala ng mga estudyante sa backpacks nila. And then you got 5 students. 2 students carry 3 books. One student carries 4 books. One student carries 2 books. And one student carries 1 book. The number of books, 3, 4, 2, and 1, are the quantitative discrete data. Another sample, data sample of quantitative continuous. Ano nga yung continuous? What is continuous
Measuring,
again?
sir.
Result of
Very,
Calculation.
counting, sir.
very good, no? If the number is if the number is the result of measuring, no, we call it continuous data. So the data are the weights of backpacks with books in them. Okay, you sample again the same 5 students. Ang imong gibuhat, tinimbang mo ang mga backpacks nila. Okay? By the way, ano yung symbol ng pounds? What is the symbol of pounds? or acronym, something like that.
Grams?
What I mean, the symbol or the unit of pound, the unit of pounds. Yeah, the
LIBS.
symbol. That is LBS.
LBS.
Correct, yes,
Okay,
sir. LB.
yeah, LBS pounds, no? Okay. Sige. The weights in pounds of their backpacks are 6.2 pounds, 7 pounds, 6 pounds, 9.1 pounds, and of course 4.3 pounds. Notice that backpacks carrying 3 books can have different weights. No? Iba't iba yung timbang. Therefore, weights are quantitative continuous data because weights are measured. So, since yung weights natin, we cannot identify weights if we cannot measure it. Therefore, yung timbang or weights is an example of a quantitative continuous data. Claro?
Yes,
Clear?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's try this one. No, although makikita niyo yung sagot dito sa next part sa ating presentation. You go to the supermarket and purchase 3 cans of
Yes,
soap.
sir.
Okay. No? Meron kang, I say soap, 3 cans of soup, sorry. So, and then that is 19 ounces tomato bisque, 14.1 ounces lentil. That is still, I think, a part of a soup, no? And then 19 ounces Italian wedding. By the way, Italian hindi siya kasal, no? It's still a soup, no? And then 2 packages of nuts, walnuts, and peanuts. And then 4 different kinds of vegetable. We have broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, and carrots. And 2 desserts, 16 ounces cherry Garcia. By the way, the cherry Garcia is the brand of the ice cream, huh? And 2 pounds, that is equivalent to 32 ounces chocolate cookies. By the way, that should be pronounced ounces, no? Kung mapalit bitaw taong ka ng palit ito tag Coke dahil sa tindahan, sabi natin, pabili po ng ano ng 8 ounce na Coke, 8 ounce. No? That is actually 8 ounces, no, ang pagka-pronounce na. Sa Bisaya na to nga term or in our language, we use it as ons, no? 8 ons, 12 ons. Di ba, Elmar?
Yes, sir.
Ano yun? Anak katingog si Elmar.
Pinang katawa.
Ah, diba 8 ons, ano? 12 ons kana siya. But the the way you pronounce it should be ounces. Okay. Now let's try to identify the quantitative discrete and then continuous discrete, quantitative discrete, and then continuous qualitative, no? Continuous and qualitative. Okay. So let's identify children. Let's have first quantitative discrete data. Okay. Now, now let's try to look at children, the quantitative discrete data. So saan dito pa? Anong yung ibig sabihin ng discrete? Counting. Okay? So
Can be
kung
counted,
sinabi,
sir. Can be
very
counted,
good.
yes.
We counted. So yung discrete natin dito sa sample na ito yung 3 cans of soup, no?
Yes.
Counting man. And then another one, 2 packages. Dalawang package ng nuts. Ano pa ba? Four.
Different
Four
For
different
different
kinds.
kinds of
Very good.
vegetables, sir.
And then
two
dalawang
desserts.
Two
desserts.
desserts.
Two
Very good,
desserts.
children. And the next would be the continuous, no? Ang continuous natin ay yung gi-measure
19
natin.
ounces.
Oh, very good, very good. So that
9.
is your 19 ounces, the 14.1 ounces, the 19 ounces Italian wedding. Ano ba ba? The 16 ounces of the Cherry Garcia ice cream, and then the 2
32
pounds,
ounces.
2 pounds or the 32 ounces of chocolate cookies. Very good. Okay? So kung magpa-quiz ko ani ba perfect di ay tani. No, kung magpa-quiz ko karon, ma perfect yun ay tani ron no. Sayo na kayo.
Perfect, yun na may solution to next page.
Yung makita ang solution sa PCAS, no? Okay. Let's have this possible solution. Of course, we got the correct answer, Char. Okay, the 3 cans of soup, 2 packages of nuts, 4 kinds of vegetables, and 2 desserts are quantitative discrete data because you count them. Okay. And then the weights of the soups, 19 ounces, 14.1 ounces, and 19 ounces, are quantitative continuous data because you measure weights as precisely as possible. And then the types of soups, no, because we have different types of soups, di ba? Ilan yung sopas natin? Sa sample, parang tatlo, no? We have three types of soups. We have the Italian wedding, the lentil, no? And then we have the tomato bisque. Okay. And then the nuts, we have two types of nuts na mention dito, tama? Meron
Yes,
tayong,
sir.
ano yung nuts na nandun? Okay. And then of course, we have different types po of vegetables, di ba? Meron tayo doon. Meron tayong
Yes, sir.
spinach, meron tayong broccoli, and so on. And then we have two types of desserts. No? Meron tayong pa-ice cream, no? And then the other one. So those are qualitative data because they are categorical. Ako ha, children?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Very clear now? Very clear. Klaro naman yung mga samples natin? Klaro naman?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
very
sir.
good. Let's proceed, no? I think we will stop here, no? Because it's already 9:42. And then to be fair po sa ibang grupo, we'll stop here, no? So again, let's review the diagram. Let's follow through. We have two types of variables, children. We have the qualitative and then the quantitative variables, no? Sa ating qualitative, meron tayong dichotomic and then we also have here polynomic. Please take note that dichotomic, meron tayong gender dito. Okay? Diba yung sabi ko sa inyo na yung gender natin, okay, technically yung gender natin is actually more than two, but in our concept here, gender is male and female. That is why gender can be considered to be as dichotomic. And then of course, the marital status, I told you that in our context, dalawa lang sana yan. We have single and married. That is why marital status can be placed in dichotomic, but at some point, we can place also in the polynomic side. No? Next, we have here the polynomic qualitative data. We have brand of PC. O, bakit ba naging polynomic si brand of PC?
Marami po kasi.
Ah,
Maraming branch ng Marami po.
maraming brand. Okay.
Two
Sige,
options.
Faiza.
More than two
Faiza,
options, sir.
yes, more than two options. Faiza, can you give me the brands na alam mo sa PC?
Ako?
Yung deal po,
Faiza,
Kobe,
yes.
yung deal po, yung Kobe, then Samsung, then I think Toshiba po.
Oh, yes, Toshiba, yes. Yung Toshiba, na-miss ko yung Toshiba kasi yung Toshiba, ah, parang ano siya, di ba? Ang tagal makuan. Very, very kuan kayo, rigid ka ang Toshiba, no? And
Ay,
then,
analysis
yes,
sir.
we have Toshiba, of course, we have Dell, our major sponsor. Kahapon, binigyan kami ng laptops, no? May pa-sponsor. So, binigyan kami ng laptop kagahapon ba? Itong salita ron.
Monday,
Ah,
sir.
Monday na ito, Monday. Okay. Binigyan kami ng laptop. So, all of the faculty has actually received laptop.
Sana all.
Yes, Dell yung brand. Sana all. And don't worry, children. I don't know if na-inform kayo. Lahat ng estudyante na enrolled also, you will be receiving your own laptop.
As
Wow,
if, wow.
Yes.
Here.
wow.
Oo, oo, di ba? So, dili dyan mo undang og eskwela ha, balag lisod kay online class, laban, kay naatay laptop. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Um, of
Waiting
course,
po kami dyan.
we have to say thank you to our president, Habib Makaayong, of course, um, because of him, yes, President Duterte also grant us to have that a very big amount of budget for the faculty members of the university to receive individual laptop, no, in the name of Dell, no, ordered pa yan from Singapore, and then all of the students will also receive their own laptop.
Wow,
Congratulations.
mashallah.
Yes, yes, no.
Mashallah po.
Thank you,
Yes, and then
sir.
I do not know if I heard it correctly, but sa pagkakaalam ko at sa narinig ko, you will be receiving your laptop before on or before August this year. Ay, Bongga.
mashallah.
Okay.
Bonggang show.
Bonggang-bongga. Okay? So, manang di gyud undang. Bahala na. Pwede yung lisura sa virtual
Hmm.
class. Laban kinay
Yes.
laptop. Okay? Sige.
Yes,
Ano
sir.
ba ba yung sasabihin ni
That
estudyante,
is
sir,
why
di ba?
we actually can prove that brand of PC can be considered as polynomic. It should be categorized as polynomic because we have different brands of PC. And that is correct. And of course, we have different colors of hair, no? Yung iba, nagpapakulay pa yan. Merong pa ash brown, na ay paputi, na ay pa yellow, na ay pa green ang uba, di ba? So we have different colors of hair. That is why uh,
Disorder.
hair color is considered to be polynomic. Okay?
Mashallah.
Yes. And then, of course, for the quantitative children, quantitative also has two components. We have discrete and continuous. As we all know, the discrete uh, quantitative discrete data, these are the numbers that are result from counting. Very good example would be the children in family. And I would like to know kung ilan kayong magkakapatid. Aina, naka-on talaga ni fresh, parang fresh from bed si Aina, no? Aina, narinig mo ko, Aina?
Fresh from the farm.
Fresh from the farm. Aina, Baraw? Can you hear me, Baraw? Hello, telepon? Baraw, telepon, Baraw. Wala, no? Okay. How about Nasbia? Tulog si Nasbia, Day. Tulog na tulog si Nasbia. Tululaway si Nasbia ngayon, no? Sino pa ba? Can we have a pipa? A pipa. Pwede
Sir,
ba na
ano
ako
yung
mapasol?
question?
Lagi. Bisag nang hawa ang uban kay di man ta mo pasulbon mga balbal gyud mo ha nang hawa mo. Apipa, ilan kayo magkakapatid Apipa?
7.
Seven. Okay? Yung sagot ni Apipa children, that can be considered as quantitative discrete data because we count them. Ilan yung lalaki Apipa?
4 po.
Apat. Okay. So meant to say out of seven siblings, meron tayong apat no, Apipa no? Apat na lalaki.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, we have four boys and three girls, and that is still considered to be quantitative discrete data. And of course, since ang MSU main campus, meron tayong pa-golf course, yes, mayaman sa MSU main campus, meron pa-golf course. Strokes on a golf hole is also an example of discrete data. So, ibig sabihin yan, kung ilan yung bolang na napapasok doon sa golf hole, no? So, kung ano ka talaga ng golf course, wow, perfect, 10/10. Kung iba, 1/10, isa lang yung bola napasok, yung iba hindi talaga nakapasok, okay? That is still counting children, therefore, that is still an example of quantitative discrete data. Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Very good,
Yes.
children. The other
Yes,
thing we
sir.
have, the last one would be the continuous data of quantitative, the amount of income tax paid. The income tax paid, children, is actually computed, no? Baka bisag atong idea about income tax paid kay kung gusto lang na mga ipatasan nimong tax ka na lang siya. Okay? As for me, my income tax paid is actually computed by my salary also. Okay, so that is why your income tax paid or the income tax here is considered to be continuous because it is measured, it is computed. Another one is the weight of a student. Hindi natin malalaman kung ilan yung magkano yung timbang ni Elmer kung hindi natin siya ilalagay kung saan dapat siya ilagay sa timbangan. Okay, so therefore weight of a student is considered as a continuous data. Okay, any questions so far? Any questions so far?
And so far po.
None so far. Okay. Later, siguro later this afternoon, I will be, yeah, guwapa kasi naman. I will be providing you mag short quiz tayo, children. By the way, if we will be having, I would like to inform everyone that if we will be having a short quiz, that short quiz is limited to a very short time also. Huh? The details will be posted lang sa Google Classroom. So like for example, if I will be giving you 15 items na short quiz, most probably I will be giving you 15 minutes to answer it. No? So meaning to say after 15 minutes after ko ma-post yung quiz, it will be locked. Nakuha?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyway, I'll be giving you heads up for that para naman maka-ready kayo. Claro?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. If you don't have any questions, I will now stop my presentation. We will continue discussing next meeting. And of course, I will be stop the recording.